Thank you everyone for joining us in this online workshop. The topic for today is how to succeed in an online environment. A very timely workshop given the unprecedented times we are in. I hope you're all staying safe and well. And we hope that in the near future, things will be back to normal and we will be seeing each other again on campus. My name's Dennis Milan, and I'm the director of the Center for Academic Enhancement. And today's workshop is part of the Paws and Reflect Series, a collaboration from across several departments in the university. So the CAE, the Center for Teaching and Learning, the Office of Student Success, and the Office of Student Engagement. Now, for this workshop, we want to do two things. First, we want to identify the challenges of the online environment. This is new for us. We've been doing online classes for some time now. The CAE has been offering online tutoring for at least 2 years now. But to be suddenly moved the entire university operation online is a new thing. No one in the university has gone through anything like this. And as with anything new, of course, it would have its challenges. So that's the first thing. The second objective we have, and this would preoccupy us for the most part in this workshop, is to talk about the various strategies that would provide students with a toolkit for success. And although this is primarily designed for students, I think any of our faculty and staff in the university may find some guidelines quite useful. So these strategies would focus on managing your time effectively. It would also talk about setting up space so it helps you focus on your work. A very key ingredient these days, definitely, communicating effectively with everyone involved in your academics. So professors, the university staff, and your classmates, of course. And equally important, there are resources available to all of us. And these resources would help us cope with, again, these challenging times. So using available resources, those are the strategies that we will be talking about. So the first one, as I mentioned, our first goal, what are the difficulties that we're facing with right now? What are the challenges of the online setting? Because all of us are at home, and at home, for some of us, we're not really used to working in this environment, in this setting. So getting things done may be quite difficult. The second one ties into the first one. There are numerous distractions that are pressing because it's not really a work environment. We're making it appear like a work environment now. We're trying to make it work. But the distractions, of course, you have your internet, you have your TV, you have your social media, you have family members. For those of us who might be, caregivers for children, that can be a distraction in itself. Another challenge we may be facing now is the lack of social interaction. For some of us, we might be used prior to the quarantine. We might be used to seeing dozens of people on a daily basis. But today, we might be limited to seeing the same one or two faces every day. And of course, this lack of social interaction can be a source of stress because we do find comfort in the company of others. Another challenge, and I've seen people go through this, and I've gone through this on occasions as well, Sometimes the technology we need to function may need some maintenance, may need some tweaking that can be beyond our skill set. Sometimes, your computer may stop working. You might lose your Wi-Fi, um, might spill water on your equipment. And yeah, these technologies, of course, are essential in functioning in today's, again, your work environment at home. Another challenge, and I believe all of us are dealing with this right now, unprecedented, difficult times that we're in. If you follow the news, every day the numbers of people who are infected, it's going up. We don't know the end of it. The virus doesn't have a cure. The effect on the economy is not only is it bad right now, but the projections are that it will get worse. So the current events, and particularly the way it's being portrayed in the media as well, can be a source of anxiety I think is a source of anxiety for all of us. And because we're all quarantined, we're all locked down, we're all at home, for any of these challenges we're going through, help may not be immediately available. And this can be true for online classes as well. We're used to a classroom setting where if you have, during class, you have a question, the professor is right there immediately to answer your question. But now, through email, your questions might go unanswered, not for a couple of hours, or maybe you'll get your answer the following day. So the urgency of some of our concerns may not be addressed as soon as we want them to be addressed. Now, this workshop will try to give you some strategies on how to deal with these challenges. I do understand that these strategies take on a preferential approach. So what may work for one may not necessarily work for another. And ultimately, it might be that, figuring out what would work best for you. But let's proceed. So our strategies will focus on 4 distinct areas, definitely not an exhaustive list of all the strategies, but hopefully it gives you options in your toolkit. So the first set will deal with time management. The second, with space management. The third, we'll talk about communication skills in this, time of lockdown. And then we will wrap it up by going over a list of available resources in the university. And let me highlight, these are free resources that you can access. So first, for time management. Because we don't have a set schedule anymore, unlike the pre-lockdown times where, you have an 8 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. And then after that, you have a 9:15 class. And then you have a break, and then you have an 11 o'clock class. We are not dealing with that anymore. In the online environment, most of our classes are running in an asynchronous manner. So it's really up to you to figure out when work will get done. So now more than ever, your ability to manage your time, to prioritize your task, now more than ever becomes tremendously important. So here are some tips that you may find useful. So first and foremost, be familiar with the overall structure of the class. Review the syllabus. The syllabus should have been uploaded in Canvas. typically in Canvas, on the left side, you would have a syllabus tab. So make sure you familiarize yourself with the whole scope of the class. And together with this, not only should you be looking at your syllabus, but be familiar with the overall structure of your Canvas course shell. Look at the assignments. What are not only the major assignments, but everything. You have discussion threads, perhaps. You have quizzes, perhaps. There might be conversation questions that your professor would post on a weekly basis. So make sure you're keeping track of all the assignments, major and minor. And of course, very important, your due dates. When are you supposed to turn it in? But also very important for due dates, especially for the major assignments. Don't only focus on when it's going to be turned in. You have to look at when you will actually do the assignment. So try to have the foresight of understanding that one particular assignment might need 5 hours to complete. Maybe another one you can do within 15 minutes. But yeah, keep track not only of the due dates, but the actual time, the duration that you would need to set aside to complete these assignments. And as I've mentioned, don't only focus on the big ones. Look at the discussions, quizzes. There might be presentations. So all of this should be in your Canvas course shell. And also very important, your professors, I'm almost certain, are very diligent in putting the grades in the Canvas course shell. So make sure you keep track of what your grades are, which have been submitted, any assignments that you may have missing. And this is something we will go over later on. For any assignments or any grades that you have questions about, communicate with your professor. We will touch on that later on. The next strategy for time management, and I think this is really the biggest one. There's no magic formula with time management. There's no secret to it. It boils down to this one big thing: having a planning calendar, being able to plan your day, your week, your month, your semester, your life, if you will. We will have another session on the Pause and Reflect series that will focus solely on time management, and we will dig deeper into this, definitely. I believe it's Tuesday next week. But for now, what I would want to touch on is that when you create a planning calendar, you can approach it as a daily to-do list, definitely. But what I would propose is that you have different types of calendars. And this you might be able to do more fully, in the coming semesters, seeing how it's already April and we have roughly a month remaining in the semester. But certainly a guideline that you can take with you, and use in the future more fully. But this is what I would recommend. Have a semester calendar where you highlight all the major events of the semester. And what are the major events? Of course, when the semester starts, when it ends. If we have any breaks during the semester, so spring break and Easter break for spring, the Thanksgiving break for the fall, incorporated into that semester, into that planning calendar. The final exams, when it will be, it should be there. Major exams, major assignments, major presentations included there. So the big things, have it in your semester calendar. But it should also contain, the major events in your life. So let's say you have this wedding you'll be attending, include it there. Your birthday's coming up in that semester, include it there. So major events, not only in your academics, but in your personal life as well. Because then it gives you a sense of how close they are, how far apart they are, how much time you have to prepare for each one. And then, of course, you have a monthly calendar. So the big events for that month with a little bit more detail, for sure. So these would include, again, major events in your classes, major events in your life. And here you would be able to identify, again, if you have an exam coming up that month, and it gives you the opportunity to identify specific days that you'll be using to prepare for those big events. You can also have a weekly planning calendar. So this would give you even more detail into how your day-to-day activities will unfold. And of course, your daily calendar. So today, on a very, very specific level, on the hourly level, what you will be doing. Now, the daily calendar is very important, definitely, because it identifies what needs to be done, and it helps you prioritize your activities. So for things that really need to happen, you can allot more hours to it. And one thing I always highlight in the daily calendar, include all tasks that you need to complete to survive. So it's not just the assignments. I always we offer this workshop on every semester. And I always tell the participants of this workshop, things like sleep should be in your daily calendar. You should account for enough sleep on a day-to-day basis. Getting enough sleep has tremendous impact on all the other things that you're doing. Entertainment, it cannot be all work and no play. So socializing, it should be here. Eating, very important, it should be here. So make sure you allot time for all the tasks that you need to do on a daily basis. And that gives you a clear sense of what will happen for that particular day. So this is the main thing really for time management, to be able to plan and organize, because good planning and good organizing for these events that you need to complete, it helps you execute the plan. Okay? It brings you one step closer to actually doing it. And that's what we have for our time management. Now, of course, we want this to be interactive. So I want you to think about your own time management skills, your time management challenges. And I have a few tasks for you. So first question, after the university has moved online, can you describe your typical weekday? I want you to think about a typical weekday. So for most of us, that's going to be Monday to Friday. On a typical weekday, what do you do? What time do you wake up? After waking up, what do you do? Okay. If work needs to be done, when do you actually do it? So describe your typical weekday. And then second question, I want you to think about and answer. How do you keep track of your important tasks? Do you have a list? Do you use your Google Calendar? Do you have a planner? Do you have several different planners? Is it different sheets of paper for each day? Do you have Post-it notes? How do you keep track of your important tasks? And then the last question, do you have any difficulties managing your time? And if you do, what can you do to overcome these difficulties? For those of you who are watching this online, you may choose to pause the video now and give yourself a few minutes to complete the activity. Now, the next area where we would have some strategies for you to improve, again, to increase your ability to cope with these challenging times, space management. So again, we are doing our work in a location that we don't normally work in. So we're at home. For a lot of us, we associate home with relaxation, entertainment, socialization, family time, and it's difficult to shed that thinking that we have that we associate with this space. So it takes a little bit of revision, a little bit of effort to convert what is normally a relaxation and entertainment space into a workspace. But here are a few tips. So first, very important, as best as you could, try to eliminate distractions from your workspace. Uh, if you're in your TV room, it may not be the best space to be working. At the very least, turn off the TV if there's no other available space during the times that you've allocated as work times. Try to limit your use of social media from your workspace. If you typically access social media from your phone and you do your work in your laptop or your desktop, then perhaps you want some distance between you and your workspace and your cell phone, just to give you that distance from that social media that can be distracting. Next guideline, have essential materials and supplies within easy reach. This definitely has happened to me several times during a meeting, and we've been having a bunch of online meetings lately. There are occasions when I need to note some ideas that came up during the meeting, and I find this is personal preference that I keep track of them better if I write them down. So for me, it's important to have paper and pen in my workspace, even though primarily I'm conducting my business through a laptop. Next guideline, it's a stressful enough time as it is. So perhaps you can make your workspace visually appealing. Try your best to declutter it. You can use colors for peace, for motivation. You can hang pictures close to your workspace. You may have a plant. Plants can offer relaxation for some of us. You may have, I don't know, a favorite blanket that you find visually appealing. Have it close to your workspace. Lighting, of course, you'll be looking at a lot of things. Mostly your light would be coming from your computer. But as I mentioned earlier, on occasions where you might need to write something, you may need sufficient lighting. So it allows you to see notes, to see textbooks, to see the paper that you're writing on. Now, for some of us, we tend to work, for hours at a time. So if your resources would allow it, focus on ergonomics. So how comfortable you would be in your workspace. A good chair helps a lot, definitely. But I do understand that, ergonomics would take resources. As best as you could, try to locate furniture or equipment that would help you stay more focused on your work for as long as you normally would work. And then our last guideline for space management, we're all relying on technology to make online learning work. So do your utmost to maintain reliable technology. I know for some of us, it would involve making sure that your desktops are clean, the PC itself, the machine itself is clean. Updating your software would definitely be part of this. So reliable technology allows you to continue working as efficiently as you could. And just like in the last section, we have another activity for this. So think about these questions, answer them, write your answers on a sheet of paper, if it helps you focus your ideas. With the first question for this activity, describe your workspace. Does it allow you to focus on your work? Are you in the best possible place in your house? I know for some of us, it might be the kitchen. For some of us, it might be our bedroom. For some of us, it might be the living room. But given the space available to you, is this the space that allows you best to focus on your work when you need to do it? And the next question, if space is posing challenges for you, it doesn't really allow you to work, what steps do you think you need to take to improve it? And again, for online participants, you may now pause the video to give you some time to think and answer the two questions. Our third area on this workshop on how to succeed in the online environment. A very key skill for all of us to have, communication. As I mentioned earlier when I was going over the different challenges, help is not immediately available. Sometimes, we think of how we used to do things prior to the lockdown, and very often, especially in the classroom, it's just a simple matter of raising your hand and you're able to access help. But not anymore. So if we are struggling in any way, if we have questions, if we have concerns, if we're dealing with issues, we need to be able to communicate these things with the proper individuals. And at our disposal right now, we have different communication tools. So let's take advantage of all of them. So first and foremost, for classes, we use Canvas, first and foremost. Canvas is the way our professors communicate with us. And for our professors, and for us as well, it's our way we can communicate back. So Canvas has an email feature. So you can click on the email feature and it gives you access to your Gmail, which gives you access to your professor's email address. So you can communicate through Canvas, definitely. Gmail as well, the Holy Family Gmail system allows you to locate people very easily. Just open an email message, and then in the toolbox, start typing the person's name, and the email address of that person automatically pops up. And now, another option, and especially true now, a lot of us are connecting through video conferencing. And we have a number of options that are all free to us. So Google gives you access to Hangouts, although my understanding is that you need to give your phone number, but it remains free as long as the calls are local. Zoom also gives you, you can connect it to your Holy Family email account, and through Zoom, you will be able to conduct video meetings. And it's fairly easy as well. Once it's connected to your Gmail, your Holy Family Gmail account. Yeah, it's easier to locate people. Google Meet is also another option. The university has access to Cisco WebEx, and that's what we're using for this workshop. I'm not certain though how widespread the access is for everybody else. But Hangouts and Zoom particularly are freely available to to all of us in Holy Family. Now, we do have the tools to communicate, and of course, take advantage of all these tools or a particular tool that you have preference for. But every time we communicate, we need to keep in mind certain communication guidelines. When we communicate with each other, we want to remain professional, we want to remain respectful. This is a guideline that I always tell my writing students. We don't want to communicate in an unprofessional manner because it's a poor reflection of us. So be professional, be respectful. And we understand that everyone is doing something. Everyone is busy these days, and we want to show another way of showing respect is to clearly show that we value their time. And the best way to show that is by being clear and by being concise. And let me clarify, sometimes, we would think concise means to be short. Not necessarily. Concise means to be direct. The after effect of being direct is being short, but shortness is not the goal in itself. It's to be direct. And in the process of being direct, we end up, saying it in the most economical way. So as we use all of these communication tools, let's keep those two guidelines in mind, to be professional and respectful, and to be clear and concise. And just like the previous two areas that we covered, we have an activity for this. So I want you to think about these two questions. And if it helps you clarify your thoughts on them, maybe you can write them on a piece of paper or type up your answer. So give an example of a situation when a student needs to communicate with a professor or a university staff member. So it can be a situation related to your classes. It can be a situation related to financial aid, for instance. It can be something about your textbook, so any situation. And then our second question, when was the last time you needed to communicate with someone from the university? And I want you to focus on the time after we moved all classes online, which I believe was March 18. So from March 18 up until now, when was the last time you needed to communicate? Describe the situation. And then what was the outcome like? And again, for those of you who are participating online, pause the video and give yourself some time to think about the two questions. And the last area for us, and as I've mentioned earlier, these are very difficult times, and all of us are going through some difficult moments. And all our difficulties are different. But there are resources that we can access right now. And these are resources that we have in the university. These are resources that will not cost you any money. I will talk about the first two, and then later on I will bring friends from student life who will talk about the other resources available to you. So the first one is the library. So the library remains open online. So the building, of course, all the buildings, the whole university is closed. But you can continue using the library. The library has a tab when you go to the Holy Family website. On the upper right corner, you have a tab there. And you can access a wealth of information from the library. You would also have their contact information in that web page, the library web page, and you can communicate with them. The chat button functions, or librarians are manning that particular feature. You can email them, and a librarian is also responding to any queries in the library. The databases definitely would be one of the biggest resources you have available to you, especially in this time when wrong information may be easily transmitted online. The databases would be one of your best defenses against wrong information or false information or fake news. Um, it's a repository of very good, reliable information. You can use it for all your classes. You can use it for your own personal lives, definitely. Now, the next service I want to talk about, tutoring. If you're struggling in your class, the CAE has tutoring in a number of areas. So writing, Spanish, math, chemistry, physics. We have tutors for them. And the tutors are available from every day. Yeah, we have tutors available every day. The best way to check when a tutor is available for a particular subject is to go to our webpage. So you can access the CAE webpage by going again to the Holy Family website. And then you go to current students. And then you go to resources and you would see us there, the Center for Academic Enhancement. You click on that link. And then on a blue button on the right side of the page, you would have the schedule an appointment button. It gives you access to the online scheduling system. If you've never used that system, you need to register first. But it gives you, after you do so, gives you access to the tutoring schedule, and you can see there which subjects we have tutors for, and when are the tutors available. Now, for this part, for the remaining resources, I would want to bring in Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann? Yep. Ruth Ann, you there? Amanda, maybe? Okay.
I can share some information about our office, Dennis.
Go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. This is Amanda Mauser, the Director of Student Success. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I wanted to go ahead and jump in and share a little bit about the Office of Student Success, specifically the support services that are available for you as a student. So as Dennis has already mentioned on our presentation here, we do have student success coaches. Those counselors are available to help assist you in individual meetings with any topic that might be affecting your student experience or your academic success so far in Holy Family. Those topics can range from time management to assignment tracking, how to prioritize your assignments, and also provide regularly scheduled check-ins to kind of provide updates on how you're doing in your courses, how can you raise your course grade, and then also provide very necessary referrals to other offices. One that we often provide is to the Center for Academic Enhancement for tutoring or writing support. And then we also have Starfish, which is our early alert system. Faculty and instructors are able to raise flags in our Starfish system that details any concerns they might have about your success in your course. The purpose of this is not negative in any way. The purpose is to hopefully be able to proactively contact you and offer the services at Holy Family and what we offer to be able to proactively set you up for success for the semester. One of the options we do have is available for you to be able to raise a flag within Starfish. If you navigate to Starfish, which is located in any of your Canvas shells, you can click on it. It'll open up a web browser within Canvas. And on the left side, there's a navigation pan. And there you can click I need help flag. That's your option to be able to raise a flag and to detail there any courses you might be struggling with, or anything ranging from financial payment concerns to access to internet and technology to complete assignments, or anything else that you might need. Even if our office does not directly handle that concern, we will make sure it gets to where it needs to be. Ruth Ann is able to, oh, she's unmuted.
Yeah, I hid everything on my end for the recording, so I apologize that I did not jump in earlier. But my name is Ruth Ann Roberts. I'm the Associate Director of Student Engagement. I'm going to talk a little bit about Two's News and then also social media. So Two's News is our Tuesday newsletter that goes out via email every week, and it's updated with information and resources that are provided to us by the campus community. So right now, specifically with everything going on, Choose News is primarily focused towards fun online resources, games you can play with your friends, advertising, learning opportunities such as the Paws and Reflect Series, highlighting different initiatives from our wellness services offices, such as their holistic hangout that they're going to start doing on Wednesdays, and really just providing kind of like a one-stop shop for our campus community for different opportunities that are available to them. And that'll go out each week with some sort of punny subject line. Try to be as creative as possible to encourage students check it out and read the documentation. And then the other thing is social media. So right now, one of the easiest ways to ensure that our students are getting the information they need is by utilizing social media, since a lot of our students are already following accounts. And so we have three different accounts highlighted here. So the student engagement, and then we've got student success and also wellness services, all have different things that they're posting almost every day of the week to draw attention from the campus community to fun things. And I encourage people to check out the Instagram accounts, because we've been doing a lot of Instagram like following contests and share contests and things like that, to really encourage that the campus community is as up to date with the information as possible. I'd also like to add the caveat that we know, similar to what Dennis has talked about elsewhere in this presentation, that we can be a little bit on information overload. It's very easy if you're already on social media all of the time and you're continuing to look towards it for or utilize it for news source, it can just be very overwhelming. So know that although these resources are there, don't feel like you have to use all of them always, because it can be a lot to keep track of everything. But we do keep them up to date if students would like to utilize these resources. So with that, Dennis, if you would like to follow up with the rest of your presentation, I'm going to give it back to you.
Our counseling services remain open, right?
That is correct. They have online and over the phone sessions right now, so you can still go onto their website and make an appointment. And the same thing goes with health services as well. They're also still offering over the phone consultations, and Keeley with disability services is also available via email and the phone as well. So all of the offices are operating, and all of these services are being offered electronically or virtually.
Thank you. And that would be the list of available resources that we have for you, for all of us. And that leads me to the final activity for this workshop. And this activity will conclude the workshop. So overall, how are you doing in this online academic environment? What strategies have worked for you? What aspects of online learning have you found challenging? And what changes do you need to do to become more successful? So give yourself some time to think and reflect about these questions. And we hope that this workshop has been helpful. And on behalf of, again, the Office of Student Success, the Office of Student Engagement, the Center for Teaching and Learning, and the Center for Academic Enhancement, thank you